At the base of a snow-capped mountain range in Provo, Utah, Brigham Young University playing host to 5 of the top gymnastics programs in the country. The Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships at the Marriott Center. All those practice hours and preparation have led up to this. It's go time for some of the best in the Mountain West, next on BYU TV. Five teams, one goal. Be the best in the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships. Live from Provo, Utah, in the Marriott Center. Glad to have you with us, everyone, wherever and however you may be joining us on BYU TV. Alongside former college gymnastics standout Megan Donahue, I'm Spencer Linton. This is the largest crew we've ever had for a live sporting event in the history of BYU TV. 65 hardworking people, 13 cameras, so we can get all of the angles covering 5 of the best in the Mountain West.
Yeah, this is going to be a great meet tonight. All of these teams have excelled this season, and really this is just a great opportunity for them to prepare for the regional championship, which is coming up very soon.
And if the regional started today, all 5 teams would qualify with that regional qualifying score, starting with number 17, Boise State.
So all of these teams are ranked nationally by their RQS score. You can see their national ranking on the left-hand side, and the top 36 teams in the country do get to attend the regional championship, which will ultimately qualify them for national championship.
Technically, this is not a conference yet, the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championship, hoping that will change very soon. For more on that, we go to our sideline reporter today, Lauren Frankham.
The Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championship is hoping to become a conference for the 2014-2015 season. I'm here with Kyle Cottom, who is the SID for Southern Utah University, and you're also the conference director, helping out a lot. What is your role in helping this alliance become a conference?
You know, the coaches ultimately wanted to set these things up and get it rolling along, so I'm helping to go over, set up initial conference bylaws. Also, Brian Evans at Utah State University is working on the NCAA certification, but really just shifting and moving the pieces around to, like you said, get this set up for the 14-15 season.
And why these particular teams to form this alliance or this conference, and how is that beneficial? You know,
when with all the conference changes, it left a lot of these schools out west without a conference affiliation. It made a natural rivalry regionally with Boise State, BYU, Utah State, Southern Utah, and Denver. Travel was convenient. Again, we're the only conference right now in the nation where all of our teams are mathematically locked to the NCAA postseason right now. So again, it made for great competition. It made for great geographic rivalries. And again, these coaches all get along really well one with another, and it's just been a great time so far.
And how likely is this to become a conference?
I don't want to say, 100%, but pretty sure 100%, yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us. Hopefully the next time all these teams meet, it will be as part of the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Conference. Spencer?
Thank you, Lauren. We'll call it 99.9% sure, right?
Right.
He seemed pretty convinced that this was going to become a conference very shortly. And the way these teams perform, I can't see any reason why they wouldn't. Today's meet preparation is brought to you by Emergency Essentials. For your family's food and water storage needs, for Emergency Essentials, be unprepared or beprepared.com. Pretty simple for all 5 clubs here, Megan.
Exactly. Tonight is going to be about who is the most perfect. Really, it's about details and sticking all the landings. If you take every event, you got 5 girls, 5 routines, 5 landings. So that's 2 points that you can gain or lose by sticking every landing. So hopefully we'll see all of the girls polished tonight.
The scores involved with these teams are very close heading into this match. And there is Tina Bird, the coach at Boise State in her 7th season. Neil Resnick also on that coaching staff. There is Melissa Kuchar-Reinhardt, 15 seasons at the University of Denver. She brings in the number 20 ranking in the country with her team. For Utah State, Natalie Walsh has done a very impressive job in her first season with the Aggies. And Southern Utah, Scott Bauman, 21 seasons Down in the southern part of the state, of course, Brad Cattermole, 26 seasons at BYU. Those are the coaches that make up the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships. Glad to have you with us on BYU TV. Rotation 1 lineup will go like this. Starts with Boise State on the vault. BYU will be on the uneven bars. Utah State gets a difficult start on the beam. Southern Utah on the floor, and Denver will take a bye in the first rotation.
Right, so since there's more than 4 teams, they will have a bye. That is exactly how regionals works. There's actually 6 teams, so there's 2 byes. So again, just another great meet preparation for regionals.
What's going through your mind as a gymnast right now, heading into a meet like this with the ramifications surrounding an event like this?
You know, really, like the SUU coach mentioned, or excuse me, CID mentioned, all of these teams are already in for regionals, and that's the most important thing, because at regionals, if you take top 2, you qualify for nationals. However, it would be a nice, you know, end of season title to take home.
We'll start our coverage on the vault with Boise State and Kelsey Morris. The Broncos entered this meet with the 17th best regional qualifying score in the country at just over 196. Again, we stated all 5 of these teams have already qualified for regionals. Got to be in the top 36. All 5 are in the top 32.
Yeah, and like he mentioned before, this conference is the only conference that has all of their teams locked in for regionals. I believe the Pac-12 also has most of their teams, if not all, locked in.
Kelsey Morris receiving final encouragement from a teammate as we get set to start our coverage on the vault with the Broncos. Final instruction from the coach as well. If you have a favorite today, Megan, who's it going to be?
Oh, you know, I really have to say that it could be anybody's meet tonight. Utah State is coming off their season high, 196. Denver is coming off their high, 196.7. So it's really going to be about, like I mentioned, who's sticking, who's on, who's cleaning up their details and performing.
We're going to call an audible, and instead of Kelsey Morris on the vault, we'll start with BYU's Megan Bain-Tidwell on the uneven bars. Coverage of the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships underway here on BYU TV. Spencer Linton and Megan Donahue here bringing you the live action. And Bain-Tidwell step forward, but her meet underway.
She let go a little bit too early on that dismount, had a big hop forward. The rest of her routine was pretty clean. So you will see 6 girls on each event, but they only have to count 5 scores toward their event score and team score.
Emily Whitmar on the beam for Utah State, Charlie Belliston. On floor for Southern Utah, Natalie Trejo.
Now awaiting the score for Megan Bain-Tidwell on the uneven bars. The Broncos still awaiting their start on the vault. As they make some minor adjustments to the apparatus over there.
Check that first vaulter for Boise State, Kelsey Morris.
When you're dealing with details in inches, I mean really centimeters, you have to make sure everything is just right.
Exactly. And you'll notice all the teams are in corrals here. Maybe when we pan out a little bit, we'll get to see, but that is actually how regionals is set up. When the girls are competing on floor, only the person competing and the person on deck are allowed outside of their little corral. Kind of keeps things under control when you have so many girls on the floor.
On the beam now for the Utah State Aggies is Katie Brown.
That's Emily Whitmar on the beam. Check that on the bar.
So Utah State has come a very long way. They have a brand new head coach, and they have looked fantastic this season so far. Really the best I've seen them look in 5 years. balance checks there. So really, if you want to be competitor for the title tonight, you cannot count any falls. A fall would be very hard to recover from in this competition. Round off 1.5 dismounts.
Solid landing right there and a good start for Utah State on the beam.
And that's what they're gonna need all night long.
Emily Vidmar of BYU now taking on the uneven bars. One of the stronger competitors for BYU in this event.
Another thing that we're gonna wanna see tonight is handstands. The judges wanna see the girls get completely vertical on their handstands, and if they are not, they will deduct. If you think about how many handstands are in a routine, and then, you know, multiply that by 5 girls, that's a lot of tenths towards your team score. Didn't quite stick that landing, a little low. Tries to take a step forward and salute the judges to cover that up. I'm not sure if they will give a stick for that.
Kelsey Morris now of Boise State, as we promised, on the vault on the Broncos. Off and running.
Yurchenko layout full, great landing. She took a baby little hop there. She got great amplitude off the horse and distance from the horse. Both things the judges will be looking for.
The score in from Megan Bain-Tidwell of BYU on the uneven bars is a 9-7.
Another Yurchenko layout full there. She had a little too much power. Did a large hop and a step. She will get deducted for both of those.
On the ball, the Boise State was Maddie Prince. Next up, Kelsey Black.
Back to the uneven bars for BYU and Casey Gassaway.
Casey is a fairly new addition to this bar lineup. She took Haley Rollins' place earlier this season when Haley went out with an injury. But Casey has very beautiful lines and definitely a competitive routine. She finishes with an Arabian double front and a great landing. Awesome set for Casey. She had a few short handstands there, but that stick is the last thing the judges will see, so great finish.
Watching Memory Shettles on the floor now for Southern Utah. Shettles won the all-around in a head-to-head meet with BYU earlier this season.
I believe she's SUU's only all-around competitor, and she is in the running for tonight's all-around competition. It's very impressive for a freshman to break into all 4 event lineups. Only the top 6 girls on the team get to compete on each event. So the floor routine is a minute 30. And you will see most of the girls complete 3 tumbling passes in their routine, but there are also a few other requirements like leaps, full turns. They have to go down on the floor in their choreography. And of course, they cannot go out of bounds. It's a 1/10 deduction if they step outside.
Memory Shettles on the floor for Southern Utah. Gets a high 10 from her coach, Bauman. Back over to the beam and Utah State for Charlie Belliston.
Next up on beam for Utah State, Sarah Landis. Next on floor for Utah, Brittany Jensen.
So beam has similar requirements. They have to do certain acro skills and combinations. You'll see the girls do a leap combination as well as a leap and acro combination. Here's her acro series right here, back handspring back layout. Gainer layout, full off the side, and great landing.
The Aggies with some things to cheer about here early in the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships. Belliston scoring a 9.725 on the beam. Now to Amanda Otuafi on the vault for Boise State. Wow.
Another Yurchenko layout full and a great landing. You can see they hold a great line throughout that entire vault. Chest is up and their feet do not move. Fantastic.
Hard not to notice the power and the height in that vault from Otuafi. Back to the uneven bars for Brigham Young University and Raquel Wilman-Hatch.
Raquel has had some great scores on this event throughout the season. Great release move there. She does a pike gainer. Just her dismount left here. She does a single giant into a double A. Great landing there. Looked like she was about to take a step back, but held on to it.
Coach Bauman of Southern Utah University. Moments ago got a great floor performance from Memory Shettles, his freshman star. One more time. Brittany Jensen on the floor now for the Thunderbirds.
Run off back handspring, double pike. You can see she landed on a 4-inch mat, which is allowed. Some of the girls like to land on a 4-inch either to, protect their ankles or, they might not be super confident with a skill. Another reason this meet is a great regionals preparation is because it is so loud in here. When you get 6 teams and they're all cheering, it can be quite distracting. So it's good for the girls to get a little taste of that before they head to regionals. 1.5 punch front. The girls must complete a front tumbling pass and a back tumbling pass.
Brittany Jensen on the floor for Southern Utah.
Brittany Jensen with a 9.825. Utah State over on the beam once again. And Sarah Landis.
So Utah State is coming off their best meet score of the season. They got a 196 last weekend against Southern Utah and actually won the meet. So they are feeling very confident tonight. Acro series back handspring rack layout. A little bit of bobble there as she lifts up that front foot, but she keeps it moving. Straddle jump 3/4 there, connected to a beat jump. The judges want to see that 180-degree split. Dismount. It's a great combination there. We see more and more gymnasts doing an acro skill into their dismount.
Sarah Landis with a 9.775 on beam for the Aggies. Now to Sierra Perkins of Boise State on the vault.
Wow, fantastic vault. You saw how high she got, and she had plenty of time to open up her arms and spot that landing. No break in that line until she hit the floor, so that should be a great score for Boise.
It's hard not to appreciate the raw emotion and happiness after a stuck landing like that. Back to the floor in Southern Utah. This is Carly Sigler we're watching.
That concludes our first rotation. Coach and gymnast, please go to your next event. Southern Utah goes to the vault. Boise State has a bye. Denver first off on the bar.
Round off back handspring double tuck.
Utah State.
So the girls are allowed to take a step back out of their passes without being deducted. That is actually something that's different from the Olympics. They recently changed it so that a step is a deduction.
Team scores are being shown on the board at this time.
Just getting ready for her final tumbling pass.
Boise State 49.3, BYU 49.1. Southern Utah 49.5.
Front full into punch front layout, and great landing there.
Utah State 48.575.
Another good routine for Southern Utah.
Strong start for all four teams involved in that first rotation. We'll calculate the scores after the first rotation. Come back with more from the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships live on BYU TV from Provo, Utah. BYU Gymnastics on BYU TV is brought to you by Les Olson Company, your business empowered. Brady Industries, clean solutions, a tradition for generations. DexterLaw.com for help when you need it most. And by Bodyguards, the ultimate device protection. Bodyguards.com.
Now begins.
Tonight's meet summary presented by Deseret First Credit Union. Deseret First Credit Union shares your values. Proud sponsor of BYU Athletics. After the first rotation here at the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships, you see Boise State on top with a 49.3. The Broncos off to a fabulous start, followed by BYU with a strong score on bars, 49.1. Utah State and Southern Utah with a 49 plus as well. Lauren Frankham now with the Denver coach, whose team had a bye for the first rotation.
Coach, you're coming off a season high coming into this championship meet. What do you want your team to accomplish tonight?
I just want them to take it one person at a time, one event at a time. We had some lineup switches, and right now we're just looking for some high energy.
You have some great players. Last time you came to Provo, you told me that there are no superstars on your team. I was watching them in practice yesterday, and they're just having fun. They look like they're friends. How has that affected your team this season?
You know, this team has great character. We really emphasize teamwork, character, and excellence, and they've really had a great work ethic and a great attitude.
Thanks so much, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you, Lauren. Denver will now start their meet officially as we begin rotation 2. Boise State getting the bye this time after a great start on the vault. Southern Utah will now take on the vault. Denver on bars. BYU moves to the beam, and Utah State over to the floor.
So a great start for all the teams. You know, no major hiccups and really good scores. I would imagine all the teams are pleased so far. Boise looked fantastic on vault. They had a few great vaults with great landings. Hopefully we'll see a few more here from Southern Utah.
Teams completing their warm-ups before we begin rotation number 2. We would like to thank RC Willey for their support of women's gymnastics on BYU TV. RC Willey, your home, your way. Spencer Linton and Megan Donahue here in the Marriott Center in Provo, Utah, bringing you live action from the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships. Any surprises for you in that first rotation, Megan?
You know, not really. I'm just anxious to see Denver out here. They were on a bye for that first rotation, so anxious to see how they start off here on bars.
If you had a preference, what would you go with? Would you start with a bye, or would you have your bye in the middle or at the end? What do you think is the easiest when you're dealing with the mental challenge of all of this?
I think my preference would be to start on vault, which is where the home team usually starts, because then you can go in Olympic rotation, vault, bars, beam, floor. Even though you'd have the bye before bars, I'd still prefer to do the Olympic order. So,
time warm-ups. Judges, please take control of your events. First up, on the vault for Southern Utah, Memory Shettles. First competitor on bars.
We'll start on the vault with Southern Utah.
First up on beam,
Memory Shettles, freshman phenom for the Thunderbirds.
Susie Miller.
A strong performance to open up her all-around on the floor. 13 cameras here today inside the Marriott Center. 65 hard-working members of the crew. The largest staff we have ever had producing a live sporting event on BYU TV. BYU will start on the beam. And there is Memory Shettles. Has received the clearance. She'll start the rotation for SUU.
Yurchenko layout half there. She didn't get quite enough rotation and didn't really look like she was expecting that landing. So she did a round-off entry vault, which is a round-off onto the board, back handspring onto the horse, but instead of a layout full, she just did a half. Starts out of a 10.0, but a little bit difficult to stick that landing since it's blind.
Ashley Follett of BYU on the beam now.
Earlier in the season, beam was where BYU struggled, but the past few meets, they have been fantastic on every event. Ashley is actually a transfer from Utah State. This is her, I believe, second year at BYU, and has been fantastic for them on beam, and in addition to beam, has started doing floor.
It's been a season of growth for this BYU team who enter today's meet, the 25th best RQS in the country. Memory Shettles after that fall takes a 9.15, and Follett with a nice landing on the beam.
Great start for BYU. All of these teams want to start their lineup with a great performance, so Ashley did just that.
Susie Miller on floor for Utah State.
Susie Miller on the floor for the Utah State Aggies.
Next up on the vault, Danielle Ramirez. Next competitor up on bars for the University of Denver, Rachel Freeman. Competing next on beam for BYU, Megan Bain Tidwell.
Opens up with a round off back handspring double pike. Pretty good landing there. The judges would like to see a little bit more control. So the girls start every event, minus vault, with a 9.5, and then they must earn 5/10 bonus so that they can start out of the maximum 10.0. And if you want to be competitive, you have to start every routine from a 10.0. So they do that by doing certain combinations as well as bonus skills and required elements.
Ashley pulled out with a 9.775 to start things off on the beam for BYU. Susie Miller still on the floor for the Aggies of Utah State. Hard to believe that this Utah State team and BYU in a very early season match posted scores around 193. I think BYU was at 192, and to see the growth and development of both programs to where they are now.
Exactly. And it really does take a while to get into the swing of competing, feeling confident. And I think that was the biggest thing for BYU's team is they had a couple rough meets, and then that's in their head the next meet, but they've learned to brush that off, and they look fantastic.
Successful mount for Megan Bain-Tidwell.
Flight series back handspring back layout. A little wobble there. At least a 10th deduction for that wobble. However, it is a 5/10 deduction if you fall. So the coaches want to see the girls fighting to stay up there.
Megan Bain-Tidwell on the beam for BYU. Susie Miller scores a 9.6 on the floor for the Utah State Aggies.
As I mentioned, they are required to go down on the beam. You just saw Megan go down. She didn't do a skill or anything, but that level change is something every girl must do. Just her dismount left. Round off 1.5. Really fights for that landing.
Holding on for it.
Yeah, a little bit too much rotation, but she goes up on her toes to try and hold that. Good fight.
Back to the ball in Southern Utah, Rochelle Bernier.
A little different vault there where she did a round off entry, but she does a full twist onto the horse and a back tuck off. The first vault like that we've seen tonight.
Rachel Feakin of Denver taking on the uneven bars now.
Denver also coming off their season high, 196.7. Huge score for them.
Feakin takes a fall.
So I think she had a little mess up there at the beginning. She fell over on that handstand and tried to keep going. She keeps going, but slipped off on that release move.
Talk about Denver in the 196.7. That's a top 5 score. That's a score you see from powerhouse teams in the South. So each of these teams here certainly capable of pulling a stunner as regionals approach.
So that will be a 5/10 deduction for that fall. She's going to finish up here. Two giants to a double A. Not quite enough rotation there. She had to pike down that dismount.
Tough start for Rachel Feakin with an 8.6 after that fall.
Tidwell on
Only
beam.
the
Next up
second
on beam,
fall
Mackenzie
we've seen
Johnson.
so far. But again, 6 girls compete and they only have to count 5 scores. So they will be able to drop that score if it is their low.
Sarah Landis, very strong competitor for Utah State, on the floor for the Aggies.
We will see Sarah on at least 3 events tonight. Opens with a double pike, excuse me. Great controlled landing there. Floors where we get to see a little more personality come out. A lot of the girls do their own choreography or, you know, have some of their teammates help them. Some schools, the coaches choreograph. So you get quite a variety of dance and music. Round off 1.5 punch front layout.
Sarah Landis for Utah State.
And a great finish.
9.875 for Sarah Landis.
Next up on beam for BYU.
The vault in Southern Utah. Danielle Ramirez.
Great vault right here. Yurchenko layout full. She gets great height and her line is just beautiful in the air. Looks like she had a little too much rotation and had to take a step back. But other than that, I did not see too much deduction.
Back over to the bars and Denver. Here's Nina McGee.
Denver wants to put up 5 great scores since they had 1 girl fall already. Ginger into immediate shoot half. Two Giants into a beautiful double lay. She held that laid out position all the way. Even a little much power there.
Some fist pumps into the air from Nina McGee after a 9.775 routine. Emily Vidmar had a nice start on the uneven bars for BYU. Now she'll compete on the beam for the Cougars.
So Emily worked in the offseason to break into 2 BYU lineups. Beautiful front aerial. She doesn't put that second leg down. It goes immediately into a scale. A lot of people recognize that as Nastia Lukin's signature move. Emily shows great lines and flexibility in everything she does. Her acro series, front aerial, back handspring. So in order to get the acro series counted, you have to connect. So she held her second leg up a little bit. Connection might have been a little slow. We'll see if the judges give that to her.
Summer Raymond.
Switch leap, split quarter. Leap combination there. Getting ready for the dismount. Tucked, gainer full.
Emily Vidmar for BYU on the beam. Back over to the vault and Virginia Brownsell for Southern Utah.
front entry vault we've seen tonight. She did a front handspring onto the horse, so she does not do the round off that we've seen all the other gymnasts do tonight. And then she does a half back pike. Wish we could see that one in replay.
Paige Jones on the floor for Utah State now.
So all these teams are designing their lineups so that their scores build. Second pass here. 1.5 punch front layout. That front layout fulfills her front tumbling requirement.
Paige Jones of Utah State on the floor. Prepping for another pass.
Ends with a double pike.
Paige Jones for the Aggies on the floor.
Paige Jones.
Today's score updates are brought to you by Brady Industries. Brady Industries has been a provider of commercial cleaning supplies and equipment throughout the western United States for over 65 years. Brady Industries Clean Solutions, a tradition for generations. And look at that score from Paige Jones, a 9-9 on the floor.
Utah State has really upped the difficulty in their tumbling. You saw she did 2 double backs. And if you ever get a chance to watch some of the top teams in the country, they are doing difficult tumbling passes and at least the 2 double backs.
There's one of the top gymnasts in the West, Mariah Martin for Denver on the uneven bars.
Line full into Ginger. Tiny bit short there. Cast handstand directly into a double back with a full twist. Very unusual to see a gymnast do a dismount from a cast handstand. Normally they'll do a giant or 2 to get some speed.
9.85 from Mariah Martin. You can see how strong her legs are holding that landing there. Now back to the beam in BYU. Here's Summer Raymond. Another of the BYU gymnasts who has beautiful lines, much like Emily Vidmar.
Yeah, and she's very tall. So it's very beautiful to watch. Switch leap into split full. BYU's had quite a few bobbles and balance checks throughout their lineup so far, but no major mistakes. Side aerial to lay out full dismount. A little bit of a squat and a hop there, but again, holding on to that, bringing in a 9.775 for BYU.
Melody Bulgarin-Linero of Denver on the uneven bars. As we move from the beam over to the bars. Denver as a team has responded nicely after an early fall from Rachel Feakin.
Beautiful straddle front Jaeger. Shoot half for a bar change. Double A dismount and a great landing.
Melody Porgueron-Lanero with a 9.825 back-to-back. Great performances on the bars. We now head to Lauren Frankham, who's standing by with the head coach of the Boise State Broncos.
Coach, you've won 4 of your 5 last championships, and you as coach, what do you attribute that to?
Well, I think the kids have worked hard year-round. I think they understand gymnastics an all-year-round sport. Their off-seasons are very important, and I think that's what's helped us be successful.
Coming into this championship ranked above all these different teams, but what unique challenges has your team faced this season?
Well, I think this year, every team here can win this competition. The field is very deep. Everybody's very talented. You're seeing some absolutely awesome gymnastics, and we're going to have to be absolutely at our best to win this.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Season number 7 for Neil Resnick of Boise State Gymnastics. Up next, the third rotation here from the Marriott Center in Provo, Utah. The Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships continue live on BYU TV in a moment. BYU Gymnastics on BYU TV is brought to you by Emergency Essentials. Be unprepared or beprepared.com. BYU alumni connected for good. Larry H. Miller, driven by you. Deseret First Credit Union, sharing your values. And by Siegfried and Jensen. Beautiful pictures from the Narrows in southern Utah. Great camera work right there. Southern Utah University knows a thing or two about some beautiful geological formations down there in that part of the state. After the second rotation, see Southern Utah with another 49.025 score from their first rotation on the floor. Denver with a 48.85. BYU pulls into 48.825 on beam. Not a bad score for the Cougars there. And look at Utah State with a 49.075 on the floor. Alongside Megan Donahue, former college gymnastics standout, I'm Spencer Linton, and we're starting to see why all 5 of these teams have regional qualifying scores that would get them there. It's been very solid on all teams' parts thus far.
Exactly. Only SUU and Denver have had falls, but they've recovered beautifully, and the rest of their lineup has hit, and so we are so close right now. I hope it stays that way.
We're through 2 rotations here at the Marriott Center in Provo, Utah. Bringing you the first ever Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships. Huge collaborative effort, and we're certainly glad to bring it to you. Have all of you watching across the country and across the world for that matter. Tonight's BYU Sports Report is brought to you by Siegfried and Jensen. We keep mentioning those 3 letters, RQS. It stands for Regional Qualifying Score, and here is what goes into that.
So you are ranked throughout the country by your regional qualifying score. They take your top 6 meet scores, 3 must be away. They drop the high and average the remaining 5. Again, like we mentioned, the 36 teams, top 36 teams in the country will get to go to an NCAA regional competition. There's 6 regions, 6 teams in each region, and the top 2 in each region will qualify for nationals.
The regional qualifying scores right now shake out like this. Boise State at number 17 in the country, just over 196. Denver not far behind with the 20th best in the country. And BYU, despite a really slow start to the season, have creeped back up into the top 25 at 195.675.
And one thing that's important to know is that all of these teams are capable of scoring 196. They've done it multiple times throughout the season. So really tonight, anyone could win this meet.
Some crowd love for the gymnast. That's BYU gymnast Summer Raymond. As we get set for rotation 3. Utah State will transfer over to the vault. Boise State now on bars. Denver hits the beam. BYU moving to the floor, and Southern Utah will take their bye halfway through this competition.
So BYU's just coming from beam and Denver from bars. I don't think they brought in the scores they were hoping, but they are still not out of this competition. They were just under that 49 mark, so they are going to need to make up expect a little bit of that here on their next event. But again, totally doable for both teams.
Boise State got up to a very quick start on the vault with a 49.3.
Time warm-ups for this rotation.
We just spoke with their head coach, Neil Resnick, in his 7th season. The Broncos, with the leading RQS entering this meet, now head to the uneven bars.
For Denver, Leah Lamonte. And on floor for BYU, Emily Bitbar.
On the vault now, in rotation number 3, will be Utah State. Two events out of the way for most of these teams here. It's been tightly contested thus far between 5 very talented teams.
And I think that's one thing all of these teams want to see is they want to have a competitive, successful conference. Yurchenko layout full to start off. Utah State didn't quite get enough amplitude there, lands really short. Big step forward, and the judges will take a significant deduction for that.
There's Maddie Krentz of Boise State, starting things off on the uneven bars for the Broncos.
Boise has looked very sharp so far. Blind full into Tkachev. Beautiful handstand there. Finishing up with her dismount. Giant double A. Not enough rotation there. Takes a big hop forward.
Krentz from Boise State now over to the beam. Here's Leah Lamont for the University of Denver.
Last time BYU saw Denver, Denver ended on beam, and they absolutely rocked that event. Kick over front tuck into split jump. Beautiful connection there. Flight series backhand swing back layout. So far, a great routine here for Denver. Finishes with a round off 1.5. Didn't quite get that landing, but brings in a 9.75.
Leah Lamont there on the balance beam for Denver. Now Bailey McIntyre for Utah State on the vault.
Yurchenko layout full. Beautiful height off the horse. Pretty big hop there on the landing.
9.775 for Bailey McIntyre. On the floor for the BYU Cougars, Casey Gassaway.
This is another gymnast that has stepped up for BYU to replace Haley Rollins. And I just think Casey is absolutely beautiful to watch. On every event, she has beautiful lines and beautiful form.
Casey Gassaway, floor for BYU. Competing on bars,
double full turn into wolf full.
Next up on beat for Denver, Jordan Hall.
Great control there on that second pass for handspring front layout, front layout. Taking a little bit of a breather here before her last pass. Even though the floor routine is only 1 minute 30 seconds, it is still very tiring. Last pass, front 1.5, also called a Rudy.
Casey Gassaway.
A 9-8 for Casey Gassaway.
Good floor team for BYU. Like I mentioned, they need to look great on this event to make up for beam.
Here's Jory Hall for the Pioneers of Denver. No matter how many times I watch performances on the balance beam, it never ceases to amaze me that they're doing this on something that is 4 inches wide. That's just ridiculous.
And I think that's what makes beam the hardest event to compete. It's because you have so much adrenaline, but you really have to harness it and stay in control. Beautiful acro series there, back handspring, back layout. She got great height on that.
Such a delicate event, but it requires an amazing amount of strength.
Megan Tidwell for BYU.
Switch lead back tuck. She's looking very sharp so far in this routine. Layout pull off the side with a stuck landing. Beautiful routine.
Jory Hall with some well-deserved congratulations from her teammates. We're in the third rotation. We'll go back over to the vault in Utah State for Katie Brown.
Yurchenko layout half. She got great distance from the horse, but over-rotated a bit and took a couple of little hops forward.
Katie Brown with a 9.775. On the bars for Boise State next will be Christine Jacobson.
Boise looking very good on bars so far. Does a pike Jaeger for her release move. Two giants into a double lay and no problem on that landing.
9.875 for Christine Jacobson, and Boise State continuing to impress during their second event.
She just made that dismount look so easy.
Effortless. Eliane Kulchik of BYU on the floor. One of my nominees for coolest athlete name in the country.
Eliane is a very good athlete. She is amazing on vault. Well, quite frankly, she's amazing on everything, and she is very powerful. She makes all her tumbling look effortless.
On the floor. Next on beat for Denver, Nina McGee. Next up on bar, Chelsea Morris.
Second pass, round up back handspring, 2.5 twist into a punch front. hoping that Elion will break into the beam lineup. Maybe next year she would be a great all-around competitor.
For a moment, I thought you were going to say, I hope she breaks into a breakdance.
Oh, wait, she did. Last pass for Elion. Punch front 1.5. And great control on that landing.
Elion Kulchik.
Solid performance from Elion Kulchik on the floor.
For Denver, Nina McGee.
She brought in a 9.9 last weekend, so we'll see what the judges thought of this week.
Nina McGee for Denver on the balance beam.
Switch side. She is a very powerful athlete. Everything she does, even on bars, is just big and powerful and beautiful. Pike jump into back layout, step out.
Evidence of what you were just talking about right there.
Again, just making it look so effortless.
Nina McGee of Denver on the balance beam.
Nancy Johnson.
Gainer layout full dismount and another stuck landing for Denver.
Nina McGee all amped up. For Utah State, Paige Jones on the vault now.
Great vault for Utah State. Yurchenko layout full. The most common vault we've seen tonight.
A 9-9 for Paige Jones. Just a teeny step there, a little bounce on that landing, but a 9-9. Well done, Paige Jones of Utah State. Back over to the uneven bars, Boise State. Kelsey Morris now on the apparatus.
Blind change into Pike Jaeger. Beautiful handstands. You can just see how tight and clean and sharp she is throughout this whole thing. Two giants, double back with a full twist. And another stuck dismount.
How about a 9-9-2-5? Boise State having quite a match thus far. Raquel Willman-Hatch, nicknamed The Rock, on the floor for BYU. Very consistent performer for BYU all season long, really her entire career.
So Raquel Willman-Hatch and Mackenzie Johnson are BYU's only all-arounders, and they've done very well this season, each of them winning multiple titles in various meets. A little bit forward on that landing.
Such a unique event happening now in the Marriott Center. A lot happening around us.
Round off whip half to a 1.5 twist.
Report to your fourth rotation event. BYU moves to the vault. Utah State SMI, Southern Utah will be on the bars. Boise State will be Denver to the floor.
This is Raquel's last time performing at home for BYU. Round off whip, double full, and a great finish for Raquel.
Raquel Willman
She's following up Mackenzie Johnson's 9-9 on floor.
And that concludes our third rotation.
Between rotations, we've had an opportunity to speak with quite a few of the coaches here at the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships. Lauren Frankham now, the guy in charge of the Southern Utah Thunderbirds.
You were telling me that your freshmen are a big strength on your team. How does that make you think of your future?
Well, our future's bright. They're competing, I think, 16 or 17 of the routines tonight. So I'm real proud of them. They're stepping up, but they're still making little freshman mistakes, so they're doing fine.
SUU is a program that just keeps continuing to grow. How does it help your program to be in such a strong conference?
This conference is very tough. This is going to come down to the last 3 kids on the last rotation. I guarantee it. These teams are all real close, and they're doing a great job. It's great to be part of a conference this strong, and I believe this is the only conference where every team is already guaranteed into the regional championships. So I think it's going to be like this every year.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
Scott Bauman in his 21st season with the Southern Utah Thunderbirds. Sierra Perkins for Boise State now onto the uneven bars. This has been a remarkable event for the Broncos. And that's coming off a really good showing on the vault.
Free hip handstand into her Tkachev. A little bit short on that handstand there, but very clean. Another very tight gymnast for Boise. Huge dismount there. Double back with a full twist. You can see she opened up very early to spot that landing.
Back-to-back 9.925s for the Boise State Broncos on the uneven bars. That wraps up 3 rotations. We'll do the math, calculate the scores, and come back with those. You're watching Gymnastics on BYU TV. BYU Gymnastics on BYU TV is brought to you by Les Olson Company, your business empowered. Brady Industries, clean solutions, a tradition for generations. DexterLaw.com for help when you need it most. And by Bodyguards, the ultimate device protection. Bodyguards.com. More beautiful sights from Bryce Canyon, also in southern Utah. Very close to Cedar City, Utah, the home of the Southern Utah Thunderbirds. Welcome to our mid-meet report presented by Bodyguards, the ultimate device protection with a full line of screen protection, cases, and covers at bodyguards.com. After the third rotation at the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships, here are a look at those third rotation scores. All 4 of the teams involved over 49, Megan.
Exactly. All these teams en route to hit that 196 mark. Boise State having an awesome rotation of 49-4, definitely giving them a little bit of an edge going into this next event.
The Broncos had 2 9.925s on bars back-to-back. Through 3 rotations, BYU with a 147.025, almost a full point lead on Utah State. Now, keep in mind that the bottom 3 teams have all had a bye. BYU and Utah State are the only teams that have competed in all 3 rotations. The Aggies will take a bye in the 4th rotation. BYU will finish up their meet now and do so on the vault. Southern Utah back to the bars, Boise State on the beam, and Denver on the floor. The Broncos, after 2 events, look like the strongest team here amidst 5 very good gymnastics teams. Fans on their feet here at the Marriott Center.
I think SUU's coach was right. I think it's going to come down to the very last event, the last couple girls. Although it's going to take a lot for one of these other teams to unseat Boise right now. However, Boise is on beam, which sometimes has proven to be teams' undoing.
Give yourselves a round of applause.
Brad Catamol and his BYU Cougars move to the vault for their Final rotation.
Fourth rotation. First up on vault for BYU, Casey
That's where we will start.
First up on
Casey Gassaway will start things off for BYU on the vault.
Ramirez. First up on beam for Boise State, Diana Mejia. And next up on the floor, first up for the Broncos, check that, the Pioneers, Elise
Gassaway, as you've mentioned a couple of times today, Megan, has stepped in nicely for this BYU squad amidst injury and some other things that have arisen over the season. Gassaway has a very bright future in gymnastics.
BYU's vault lineup has changed a lot throughout the season, but they have managed to compete 6 10.0 vaults. Great start for BYU. Yuchenko layout full and a stick.
And a partial smile graces the face of Brad Cattermole. He's not a guy that shows a ton of emotion during these meets. He's been doing it for a long time, 26 years. But even that got the half smile. Boise State now on beam. Diana Mejia.
Side aerial back handspring. Not an acro series you see too often. I love that combination. Switch leap to jump full. Great routine for Boise right here.
Casey Gassaway scores a 9-9 on her vault.
1.5 dismount and another stuck landing. That has to be a career high for Casey Gassaway on vault.
finishing up on bars for Southern Utah.
And well deserved. It's a beautiful vault.
Now to Southern Utah on the uneven bars.
Southern Utah has a tough act to follow after Boise's bar rotation.
Danielle Ramirez for the Thunderbirds.
Blindfold not quite completed on top of the bar, but overall good routine.
Score in for Diana Mejia at a 9-8 on the balance beam from Boise State.
Next up on beam for Boise State, Christine Jacobson. Next competitor on bars, Jamie Armijo.
After this rotation, Brad Cattermole's team will sit and wait as the other four teams complete the meet in their fifth rotation. Raquel Willman-Hatch of BYU on the vault.
Trinko layout full. She had a little too much power there, took a big hop and tried to salute before she took another step.
And back over to the uneven bars in Southern Utah. Here's Michelle Bernier.
Front Jaeger. Shoot half, great handstand there. Blind full and a double twist dismount. Not a dismount you see too often. A little bit short on a couple of those handstands. Like I mentioned earlier, the judges want to see the girls get completely vertical. She wasn't quite there, and she will receive a small deduction for that.
The Broncos of Boise State, Christine Jacobson on beam. Thus far, they have continued to look very good. No major gaffes for the Broncos at any point in this meet.
She mounts with a press and then a plunge. It's one of those things that she doesn't get bonus for or credit for, but adds a little flavor to the routine. Back hamstring, back layout, back handspring. Leap into back pike. Fulfills her gym acro combination. You know, I have to say I'm very impressed with her right now. I watched a little bit of her warm-up and she really struggled on a couple of her skills, but she's looking fantastic so far.
And on bars,
One and a half dismount. Again, a very difficult dismount to land because it is a blind landing.
Next on the beam for Boise State, Kelsey Morris. Next up on bars for Southern Utah, Memory Shells.
Mackenzie Johnson for BYU now on the vault.
Next up on floor,
BYU looking for a big score from Mackenzie.
Yurchenko layout full. Again, a little bit too much power there, but she holds on to it with just the one hop.
So Mackenzie with a 9.85. Bars now in Southern Utah. Jamie Armijo.
She's doing a, you saw there, she did a Healy and had an inverted eagle grip. It's not something you see too many girls do. Double layout dismount, a little bit short on that rotation, but holds on to it. Does not let her knees touch the ground. She does not want that 5/10 deduction.
And a 9.825 for Armijo. Back over to the beam, Kelsey Morris. Boise State pacing for potentially a season high score.
Final competitor on bars for Southern Utah, Tylee Mizuto.
Back handspring, back handspring layout, a triple flight series. Her legs were a little bit bent throughout that entire series, but no wobbles on the landing. Dismount. Tiny hop there.
9.825 for Kelsey Morris. Eliane Kulchik of BYU. Powerful gymnast now takes her game to the vault.
For Eliane. Eliane is very powerful, so usually she struggles to harness that power, but that was a great landing for her.
Rewarded with a 9.875. Denver on the floor this rotation. Here's Caitlin Moorhead. We'd like to thank RC Willey for their support of women's gymnastics on BYU TV. RC Willey, your home, your way.
Denver doing great on floor so far. Caitlin opens with a double pike and great amplitude on that pass.
Caitlin Moorhead on floor. Final competitor on floor.
Front layout full. One more pass here to go on floor. Run off back handspring double tuck. Again, Denver showing some great difficulty throughout this meet. Really upping their game on floor.
9.875 for Moorhead of the University of Denver. Good routine from Caitlin. Once again to the uneven bars. Here's Southern Utah's Alyssa Click.
Beautiful straddle back to handstand. Another eagle giant there. Two eagle giants into a pike gainer, pike Jaeger. Double tuck dismount, a little bit low on that landing. She might not have needed that 8-inch mat there, but good routine for you, Southern Utah.
Click pulls in a 9.8 on the uneven bars. Mariah Martin now on the floor for the Pioneers.
Mariah Martin is definitely in the running for the all-around title tonight.
Watch how high she gets.
Arabian double front. Looks like she opened a little bit early, but she still holds on to that landing.
She tumbles with so much power, it almost looked like her knee buckled back up.
Yeah, Arabian double front is difficult to land because it is another blind landing, so you can't really spot the floor as you're coming down. That's where a lot of repetition and muscle memory comes in.
Mariah Martin finished on floor. And our final competitor on floor for the University of Denver, Nina McGee.
Also shows great amplitude on her leaps. Final pass, front off back handspring double tuck.
Mariah Martin of Denver.
Great routine, a little bit of a hiccup on that first pass, but that shouldn't be too big of a deduction.
She called it with a 9.85. Not many deductions for Mariah Martin there. In the cleanup spot for Denver on the floor is Nina McGee.
Another very powerful gymnast. She opens with a big pass here. It's very difficult. She does 2 flips, but in a laid out position. Wow, and just makes it look so easy. Switch side, beautiful split there. The wolf full. Front full, front tuck. Excuse me, front
very
pike.
sharp.
Yes, shows a lot of control. Even on that first pass, very difficult, and she just sticks it. Getting ready for her final pass here on floor. Beautiful routine so far.
That concludes our 4th rotation. We'll move now to our 5th.
Finishes with a double pike, a little bit of chest down there.
Nina McGee.
Denver will go to the vault. BYU has a bye. Utah State finishes up on bars.
Lauren Frankham now with Utah State Aggies, who will head over to finish their meet on bars.
So this is your first year as head coach. What do you think of the job so far?
Well, not my first year as a head coach, just first year here. So I feel like the girls are doing a great job. I'm really proud of them, and I'm just really excited about the atmosphere that I feel like our school is bringing with them to the meet.
So much parity in this conference. A lot of the teams are very equal. How do you feel your team's doing tonight?
I feel like we're doing a good job. I mean, there's a few things I wish we would have done a little bit better, but
Team.
I just want to see the girls do what we do in practice. We hit our handstands, we stick our dismounts, and we make sure we try to have all our skills be vertical and clean. And I feel like that's what they do in the gym, and that's what I expect them to see, or I expect to see right now.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
Natalie Walsh in her first season with the Utah State Aggies. We approach the 5th rotation. Down the stretch of the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships, BYU will take a bye and watch the other 4 teams compete for the title. BYU Gymnastics on BYU TV is brought to you by Emergency Essentials. Be unprepared or beprepared.com. BYU alumni connected for good. Larry H. Miller, driven by you. Deseret First Credit Union, sharing your values. And by Siegfried and Jensen. Welcome back to Provo, Utah. Tonight's meet summary presented by Deseret First Credit Union. Deseret First Credit Union shares your values. Proud sponsor of BYU Athletics. Inside the Marriott Center, 4 rotations complete. Here are a look at the tallies from that 4th rotation. BYU with a 49.025 on vault. Southern Utah with a 49.050 on bars. Boise State did take a bit of a hit in the beam like you prognosticated, Megan. That's a tough event. And Southern Utah with a solid performance on the uneven bars. Today's meet management brought to you by Les Olson Company, your business empowered. BYU through 4 rotations they will watch, but the other 4 teams, well, it's easy. They have one last chance to impress. They want to finish strong. What does finishing strong entail for these teams, Megan?
I think just doing what they do every day in practice, kind of like Utah State's coach said. I don't think they need to do anything different, anything special. They're good every day of the week. So keep the nerves under control, have fun, and put on a good performance.
Look at Scott Bowman of Southern Utah University in his 21st season. His team, one of the 4 that will compete in this final rotation of the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring this 5-team meet to you here on BYU TV. I'm Spencer Linton alongside Megan Donahue. I was just mentioning to you during the break, it's kind of like sensory overload as you're watching 4 different events happen. You have fans from all the different schools screaming at the top of their lungs. It's an exciting event. It's something that I've never experienced. I've never been to a meet with more than 2 teams, and so it's certainly been something fun to watch.
It is, and it's so loud. It really is kind of hard to concentrate, but regionals is going to be even louder. So fantastic prep for them.
Yeah, you talk about the uniqueness of this event and getting them ready for regionals. There will be 6 teams there, but it's kind of the same thing other than you add 1 more team and maybe a little bit of volume.
Exactly. And everybody's excited and everybody wants to be loud, so something to get used to.
The Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships in the Marriott Center in Provo, Utah. Teams warming up. We just spoke with Natalie Walsh of Utah State in her first season in charge of the Utah State gymnastics squad. She has watched her team, much like BYU, progress consistently throughout the season.
I'm looking forward to seeing Boise on floor. Neil and Patty Resnick actually owned a gym in Reno before becoming coaches at Boise State, and they always had fantastic floor routines, great choreography, and great dance. So hopefully we get to see a few of their competitors tonight.
Through 4 rotations, BYU eclipses the 196 mark. Boise State and Denver, really all 4 teams in good position to do that with a strong final rotation. The Cougars will have to wait and watch to see who catches them and which team passes them, if any, in this 5th rotation.
BYU 196-1. They did have a little bit of a mess up on vault. They had 1 fall, and then they had to compete a vault that does not start out of a 10.0. So they ended up counting a 9.5. But really, 196-1, 3/10 under their high. I don't think they could have asked for anything better.
In this 5th rotation, we've already mentioned BYU will watch the other 4 teams. Denver moves to vault. Utah State on the uneven bars. Southern Utah finishes with that tough task on the beam, and Boise State on the floor. The Broncos have been flying all over the place in the Marriott Center today. We'll see what they can do as they want to wrap up a Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championship.
On the bars, it's Utah State's Bailey McIntyre.
Bailey McIntyre will start things off in this 5th rotation coverage for Utah State. On to the uneven bars.
Blindfold Ginger combination into immediate bar change. Finishing up with a double tuck and a full twist. Chest was a little low, a little bit of squat there, but she held on to that dismount landing. Beautiful start for Utah State.
Big smiles from Bailey McIntyre. She awaits what we project will be a very solid score to open up the uneven bar rotation for the Aggies. Natalie Trejo of Southern Utah, the first to compete for the Thunderbirds on the beam.
Again, beam is very difficult to end on. However, the teams end on beam at every away meet with just a dual meet, so no new challenges there.
Interesting how that works out, and you try and build up your home floor advantage almost that way.
Exactly. I think, though, for rotations today, they, drew sticks or drew names, however you want to do it, but
try and keep it as fair as possible. Bailey McIntyre scores a 9.8 on bars to start things for Utah State. We're watching Natalie Trejo on the balance beam for Southern Utah.
And so far, she's done a great job. A couple balance checks here and there. Just getting ready for the dismount. 1.5. Great finish.
Just a hair of a side hop for Natalie Trejo. Nina McGee of Denver It's the vault for the Pioneers.
Wow, beautiful vault. She does a Sukahara layout full. It takes a lot of power to do that vault. Don't see too many girls do it.
9.85 for Nina McGee. There are the BYU Cougars taking in the 5th rotation. They already jumped over 196 for the meet. Very good confidence scores they had to regionals.
And you'll notice tonight, BYU was not the sharpest we've ever seen them, and they still brought in a 196.1. If they can just get back in the gym, really work on those landings, they have huge scoring potential for the regional meet.
Here's Anna Jaworski for the Southern Utah Thunderbirds, back over to the uneven bars.
Front tuck mount. It's a big risk to take right off the start. Big wobble and a couple steps there, but she holds on to it. They do not want a 5/10 deduction at this point in the meet. Flight series round off backhand, or excuse me, round off layout, step out. You look pretty crooked there.
Jaworski off the beam for Southern Utah. That is the 5/10 deduction you were talking about, Megan.
Right, so they have 6 girls. They do not want to count a fall on beam, so they're going to need their next competitors to really stay on.
Jaworski finishing nicely. It sounds simple enough, staying on, but it's just not.
Not ideal for Southern Utah on beam. Puts a lot of pressure on the next girls. However, we've seen them do it before.
Joanna Cuba for Utah State.
Blind change, straddle Jaeger. Blindfold, double tuck dismount, and another stuck landing.
9.85 for Joanna Cuba.
Utah State is really hanging tough in this competition.
Back to the vault now for the Denver Pioneers, and it's Rachel Felix.
Wow, beautiful vault. Yurchenko layout full. See, she throws her arms out to stop her rotation, has time to spot the landing. Beautiful vault.
That's rewarded with a 9.925.
Denver really putting pressure on Boise here in this last rotation.
The Broncos, oh, by the way, on the floor. Kelsey Morris.
Opens with a double pike. Boise definitely showing why they're 17th in the country right now. Very clean performance tonight.
Next up on being Kylie Bizzuto. And next contender on the floor, Amanda Otuaki.
Kelsey Morris of Boise State finishing strong on the floor. The Southern Utah Thunderbirds and their freshman phenom, Memory Shettles, now take to the beam. Memory has had a shaky afternoon thus far, hoping for a strong finish here. The T-Birds will try and make a run into the top 3 here at the Marriott Center in Provo, Utah.
SU cannot afford any more mistakes on beam if they want to pass BYU. Front aerial. Balance check there. One thing that's really important on beam is even if you make a mistake, you just need to keep going, keep moving, and don't hold back on any of your remaining skills. Acro series, back handspring layout, immediately into a layout full dismount.
Just what Memory was looking for and has worked so hard to pull off a 9.8 on the balance beam for Memory Shettles.
Finishing up on bars for Utah State.
Mariah Martin and her vault for the University of Denver. Coach Melissa Kuchar-Reinhardt watching in the background.
Another huge vault for Denver. Yurchenko layout full, but you can see how high they're getting off the horse.
That to the tune of a 9.95 for Mariah Martin. I think I heard a shout from her family in the Front Range area. Cattermoles, BYU.
Next cutter on the floor for Boise State.
Paige Jones will take the uneven bars for Utah State.
Line change into straddle Jaeger, immediately into shoot half. Utah State looking for some strong finishes here. Double layout, a little bit of a hop. Tries to salute before she goes anywhere else.
Paige Jones quietly having a very nice meet up, a 9.875. Back to Boise State, the Broncos on the floor, Kelsey Black.
First pass, a double tuck. Beautiful ring leap there. She throws her head back and shows great flexibility. Front handspring, front layout full.
Kelsey Black on the floor for Boise State. Finishing on beam with Melissa Split. We're down to our final competitor on the floor.
This is Kelsey Black of Boise State on the floor.
So far, a great performance. Finishes with a 2.5 twist. Didn't quite have enough height there. Landed in squat position and couldn't step back to hold on to it. So that will be a 5/10 deduction for that routine.
For Boise State.
Otherwise, a great routine from Black. Now we transition back over to the uneven bars. Utah State, Caitlin Betts. I want to give one more shout out and a big thank you to RC Willey for their support of women's gymnastics on BYU TV. RC Willey, your home, your way. Final moments of the 5th rotation here at the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championship.
Beautiful Jaeger there. She really had to reach to hold on to that one. Blind full into double tuck. And again.
A 9.85 for Caitlin Betts. How about the reaction from Coach Walsh and her team?
In her heels, no less.
Southern Utah University on the beam. Here's Alyssa Click.
Southern Utah's really trying to pull ahead of BYU right now. They've had one mistake, which is okay for their event score. They will drop their lowest score. Few minor balance checks so far.
Alyssa Cook finishing up a balance beam routine for the Thunderbirds.
Beautiful front aerial combination there.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you'll see, the scores will be posted on the screens down in front. Those are unofficial scores.
Alyssa Click, a 9.675 and a solid finish with that dismount. Lauren Frankham now with BYU's head coach Brad Cattermole.
Brad, Boise State's head coach just came up to me and said, what a dogfight. How do you think your team did tonight?
It's when you're sitting out that last rotation is hard. That's the scores kind of tend to go up in the last rotation, and we were sitting that one out, just kind of luck of the draw. We had a good meet. We had a struggle on vault that I wasn't expecting. But the meet we did, we had a good meet. It'll be a good meet. Hopefully it'll push us up a little bit in the rankings for the regional championship.
You find out your seating on Monday for regionals. How does this atmosphere help your team prepare for regionals?
This is kind of how regionals feels. I mean, you've got buys and you've got teams moving all over, and there's a lot of people on the floor, a lot going on. This will feel a lot like regionals, and I thought our team did well. So we're on the right path. We're hoping to kind of clean up just a little bit, get some of the little itty bitty mistakes out of there, and have a real good performance at regionals.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Brad Cattermole in his 26th season with the BYU Cougars. I know you say, what's on the line in this meet? Well, you try and improve that regional qualifying just a little bit. Our final competitor here today of this championship set will be Sierra Perkins of Boise State on the floor.
She anchors this event and opens with a big tumbling pass, double back with a full twist. Gets so high on that double back.
gymnastics fans, at this time we'd like to invite the competitors back on the floor to announce the all-conference finishers on each event.
Front layout full.
Also presented, as well as the 2014.
So all the girls start out of a 10.0 on floor. They don't necessarily need those big tumbling passes for their opening pass or last pass, wherever they put it, but it just looks better for the judges. You know, it's kind of that wow factor. And that's something that all the big teams in the country have. Finishes with a huge double back.
Sierra Perkins on the floor for
a sprint over to her teammates and coach. Sierra Perkins expecting a big-time score after a big-time routine to wrap things up for the Broncos on the floor.
Southern Utah University.
Fifth rotation scores. Denver with a 49.475 on vault. Utah State with a 49.125 on the bars. SU takes in a 48.975, and the Boise State Broncos with a 49.325. Big scores all over the board. We'll add it up and be back next. We welcome you officially to the Larry H. Miller post-meet recap. Larry H. Miller, driven by you. Look at those scores. All 5 teams go over 196. Denver just edging out Boise State 196.925 to 196.9. BYU finishes third, followed by Southern Utah and Utah State just a quarter of a point behind. I mean, that is as close as it gets.
A quarter of a 10, that's not even a hop or a wobble. It's a half a wobble, a half of a step. So such a close meet, as we expected, and great competition tonight.
The Denver Pioneers used an enormous score on the vault in their final rotation to sneak past Boise State. The Broncos really left no door to go through, but the Pioneers found a way to come back and get this. There was Melissa Kuchar-Reinhardt, the head coach of the Denver Pioneers, who win the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships.
And we have a two-way tie.
One more time with a winning score of 196.925.
Balance beam champion. And that goes.
Here's the Dexter and Dexter performance of the meet. Dexter Law is as passionate about shouldering people's burdens as it is about BYU. Dexter and Dexter helps you when you need it most. DexterLaw.com. Mariah Martin with a 9.95 on vault.
She is just so powerful in everything she does.
Hard to find any flaws in that vault. And congratulations to Mariah Martin, who takes the high score on the vault and our Dexter and Dexter performance of the meet. Teams all being awarded different honors right now. All 5 teams on the floor.
First team all conference on the floor.
Now we head to the BYU Alumni Game Changer. Chances are the relationships that changed your life started at BYU. BYU alumni connected for good. And for the Cougars, it's Casey Gassaway, a 9.9 on vault, followed by a 9.875 on bars and a 9.8 on floor. Casey with a career performance under the brightest of lights this season.
She had awesome performances tonight, especially want to highlight her vault, where she stuck it cold. Again, filling in for Haley Rollins, and does an amazing job. There it is. Oh, there it is, the Brad Cattermole fist pump.
The fist pump. You had talked to me about this and said that you need to experience it. We got it on camera. There it is.
Finally.
A 9.9 will do that. That will bring out the fist pump from Coach Cattermole. Final meet report here brought to you by Larry H. Miller. The scores, Denver with a 196.925. They just edge out Boise State by a quarter of a tenth, 196.9. BYU in third out of this 5-team meet, 196.1. And they beat Southern Utah and Utah State by a quarter of a tenth. You said that's a half of a wobble.
Yeah, so close.
Congratulations to all of the athletes here today at the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championships. A great performance. Congratulations to Denver, who wins the Mountain Rim Gymnastics Championship as a team. To watch us meet again, go to BYUTVsports.com. Don't forget to tune in to BYU TV for much more. For Lauren Frankham, Megan Donahue, and our entire fantastic, hardworking crew of 65 people, I'm Spencer Linton saying goodbye from Provo. We'll see you next time.